Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 2 PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Drakekeeper's sword, and I've got to say it is really nice to be back working on videos. Recently I've been a bit busy with school, just finishing up the end of the semester, final exams, final projects, all of the studying that goes into all of that. And I am so happy it's done with. It's finally summer, I can finally relax a little, work more on videos, start streaming more, and that's a nice thing. It's definitely nice. But getting back on topic, the Drakekeeper sword. It's a good weapon. I really enjoy this thing quite a bit. It's got the exact same moveset as the broadsword, but in my opinion it's a bit more useful for one reason and one reason only. It's longer. Now, the broadsword has always had a good moveset, and a lot of people either love it or they hate it. It's always a broadsword or a longsword sort of argument. And, some people love one, some love the other. That's just the way it always has seemed to be. This time around, though, we've got the Drakekeeper sword, which has the length of a longsword, at least, and has the moveset of the broadsword. So it's a bit hard to say exactly what's going to happen to the broadsword. I'm not exactly sure. It'll probably be like a long sword, short sword debate at this point. But anyway, the Drakekeeper sword, moving into the stats and all of that stuff, it requires 16 strength and 8 dexterity in order to wield. It has a C scaling in strength and a C scaling in dexterity, so it is in fact a quality weapon. The physical base damage of this weapon is 245. And the attack rating on a 40-40 quality build is actually 400 even with a Ring of Blades +2. Exactly the same as the Sun Sword. Now keep in mind, the Sun Sword has a lower base damage of, I believe it's 185 if I'm recalling that correct off the top of my head, and a AA scaling, which is why I like to call it the battery. Now, it's interesting in my opinion, because this weapon has the higher base damage and lower scalings, yet the same damage output and same attack rating as the Sun Sword, and that's kind of cool. It just really shows exactly what the scaling is doing for it, and gives you like a reference point, I guess you could say. But maybe that's not interesting to anyone but me. I don't know. Moving on though, the counter strength of the weapon is 100, the poise damage is 25 per hit, and the weight is 6 units. Now, as I said earlier in the video, this weapon has the exact same moveset as the broadsword. As far as the speed of the swings, I do believe that they are in fact the exact same speed, so the only real reason to use the broadsword over this would be the weight, unless there is something else I'm not seeing, which of course that is possible and a good chance of it happening, yeah. But from what I can tell, there's really no reason to use a broadsword over this, except for the weight, and also except for the fact that this is a very rare drop. Apparently the Drakekeeper weapons are a bit hard to get your hands on, and you gotta do a bit of farming, but I guess I had a bit of luck with it while I was trying to farm for a Black Dragon War Pick, so it is what it is. I have like 3 or 4 of these things. Anyway, I would have to say that the biggest pro of this weapon would definitely be the fact that it's got a very good amount of reach to it. In addition to that, it's got the broadsword moveset, so really this just is a straight upgrade to the broadsword and to what the broadsword has always been. It's always been a good weapon. It's always been kind of short though, especially in comparison to a longsword. This time around though, as I said earlier in the video, in the whole rant about the broadsword versus the longsword, and how it's going to become a longsword and short sword versus broadsword and Drakekeeper sword sort of debate, it's exactly what I said earlier. I don't need to repeat myself, I guess. It's longer, has the same moveset. I'm not seeing a speed difference between the two, and the damage output is roughly the same, if not slightly higher, on the Drakekeeper sword. So that's pretty good, and I definitely can't complain about that. I don't see why anyone really would complain about that. Other pros of the weapon, of course, the broadsword moveset is pro. I believe I already said that though, and that's really all I can think of, to be honest. The cons of the weapon, I would have to say that the biggest con of this weapon would probably be one of two things. It would either be the weight and how it's slightly more than a broadsword, or it would be the fact that it is so rare to get. I've heard of people farming for this weapon for so long, it's just ridiculous. But is it worth it? I would definitely say so. I mean, I would really say so. it's a fantastic weapon. It has all of the benefits of a broadsword plus the reach of a longsword or even longer, because from what I can tell, it actually has a very long blade. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. It means you can hit people who are farther away, and I can't complain about that, although they definitely might. Another good pro about the weapon is that it's very good at chasing people down, so that's something else you should keep in mind. Overall, I would highly recommend trying to get this weapon if you have not got it. If you did get it, then congratulations, upgrade this thing, you will probably like it. Unless you're a fan of the longsword moveset, and then, well, never mind. So, anyway, this is the last fight in the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it helpful in one way or another. Please like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and I will see you guys next time.